neza ugifite uburyo uzasaze hari icyo wigejejeho. Urashoboye, ni wowe isi ikeneye, ni wowe nkingi ya mwamba. Urashoboye, ejo ni heza. Urashoboye, cika intege. Urashoboye, ni wowe mukungu. Urashoboye, wita umwanya wawe kubidashinga, oya disiwe. Turabafite intego barakataje nta guhagarara. Komeza ujye mbere uyizure ibiguhiga byose. Ntuzicare ngo wumve uciriritse, oya oya. Uzacishe bugufi ariko wumve gukomeye. Ufite urufunguzo rw'intsinzi muri wowe. Umva yewe umva, urashoboye ari u Rwanda. Rurema yaguhaye ubushobozi kandi koko urashoboye. Kora neza ugifite uburyo uzasaze hari icyo wigejejeho. Urashoboye, ni wowe isi ikeneye, ni wowe nkingi ya mwamba. Urashoboye, cika intege. Urashoboye, ejo ni heza. Urashoboye, ari u Rwanda. Urashoboye, ni wowe mukungu. Urashoboye, mama w'abana b'ejo. Urashoboye. Maze nugera ahanyerera uzibuke ko ntagahora gahanze. Oya bambe, urukundo n'urugwiro bikurange nyabusawe. Burya akabando k'iminsi gacibwa kare kakabikwa kure. Ntugashidukire ibyaduka, witora ibyo utazi nk'utazi yajya. Ufite icyo ashaka natora icyo abonye. Mwariwe urashoboye. Umva yewe umva, urashoboye mwari w'u Rwanda. Rurema yaguhaye ubushobozi kandi koko urashoboye. Kora neza ugifite uburyo uzasaze hari icyo wigejejeho. Urashoboye, ni wowe isi ikeneye, ni wowe nkingi ya mwamba. Urashoboye, cika intege. Urashoboye, ejo ni heza. Urashoboye, urashoboye, ni wowe mukungu. Urashoboye, serukana isheja. Urashoboye, dore urashagawe. Urashoboye, isi guhanze amaso. Urashoboye, kuko wahawe ijambo. Urashoboye.
That moment where the bow hovers over the string, or the conductor raises their hands, or that inhale before the opening words, or those recital hall doors which are closed, which have been closed for months, but they're waiting to open and let in the audience. Maybe the seats are being dusted down ready for them, and we have this huge sense of anticipation as we're coming out of lockdown. Maybe partly fearful, partly excited. And although these circumstances are all new and unknown to us, we've never tried to recover from a pandemic like this before. The sense of anticipation, I think, is a deeper sense that is somehow familiar, just as we know that feeling as the dominant seventh yearns to return to the tonic. The sense of anticipation, I really believe it mirrors something bigger. Jesus is coming again. And this is something I've not heard talked about a lot, but throughout lockdown, little things have reminded me of it, have pointed me back towards it, and I really feel like I need to share it with you today. So any illness and disaster reminds us of our frailty, of our need for change, of our need for restoration. As does social injustice, and throughout lockdown we've heard cries for change, for justice. And I think this points forwards to what we read about in the book of Revelation. Now, this mysterious, often scary, often confusing book is what I'd like to look at now. And I don't pretend to understand it all. But in chapter 21, really near the end of the whole Bible, the writer who saw a vision said that they saw a new heaven and a new earth. And I think all this anticipation is what that's really pointing forward to deep down. And I don't know when it will be, but it is coming. And maybe what we're anticipating most as we come out of lockdown, perhaps it's relationships. It's being able to give that person a hug who you've had to refrain from for so long. I've been helping out at a school ever since schools have slowly started coming back with reduced numbers in England. On Mondays I've been helping out with, they call it a pod, of 10 tiny children. And one of them, he's very sweet, I think he must be about 6 years old. He came in and he told me about his weekend. He said it was amazing because he got to give his grandma a big hug, and he told me how big the hug was. He was so excited to be able to hug her for the first time in months. And for her, that might have been the first hug she'd had in months because she lives on her own. And what an amazing picture of relationships restored that is. The same as people who are starting to get married again. I have a friend who's a brilliant dancer, and she'd been really looking forward to getting married. She'd been waiting for it. Beautifully waiting for it, and then it had to get cancelled because of the restrictions. And she said to me on the phone, as soon as it's legally possible, Becky, I want to get married. Even if it's not a big celebration, even if most people can't be there. And today she's getting married, and we're going to get to see it on live stream. And they're just having a few people there, just enough to make it legal with the witnesses and things. And this picture of a marriage that's been longed for, finally coming, finally happening, is similar to a picture that we get here in this book of Revelation, and at least that's a picture that we can understand of it. We have this picture of a wedding feast, of a wedding. Hear what it says. I saw the holy city, the New Jerusalem, coming down out of heaven from God, prepared as a bride beautifully dressed for her husband. And I heard a loud voice from the throne saying, Look! Look! God's dwelling place is now among the people, and he will dwell with them. They will be his people, and God himself will be with them and be their God. Now that first picture of a city can seem abstract, but then we learn it's all about people. It's about God being with his people. We sing about God and we hear about God and we know God in part, but we've not seen him. The person in the Bible who maybe sees God the most is Moses, and he doesn't see him like we will see him then. And when he does see God a little bit, his face shines so brightly he has to cover it with a veil because it terrifies people. But here we'll be so close to God. It says that the city does not need the sun or the moon to shine on it, for the glory of God gives it light, and the Lamb is its lamp. The Lamb here is another word for Jesus, and God in Jesus will be illuminating the city. They'll be so close, they'll be as close as this light is close to us. They'll illuminate everything. And all that longing for relationship that we have will be completely fulfilled. How amazing is that? But as we have a sense of anticipation for relationship, we anticipate a verdict. I'm waiting to hear a verdict from the World Health Organization. When will the pandemic be over? Will there be a second spike? Will it come back in the winter? Or we're waiting for guidelines from our various governments. What is safe to do now? What are we allowed to do now? Can we have concerts now? Or maybe we're waiting for medical verdicts, and how awful that's been. Waiting to hear a test result. Does somebody we love have the virus? Is somebody better from the virus? Is somebody safe now? But there's a much bigger verdict coming that's written about in here, and I think all these verdicts Again, they foreshadow, they're a foretaste of this bigger verdict. Jesus says this. He says, "Look, I am coming soon. My reward is with me, and I will give to each person according to what they have done." What have we done? Do we deserve a reward? There are two options painted here. There's the option of being in this beautiful city with God. Or there's a horrible picture, an awful picture of a fiery lake that's burning, and it calls it the second death. It says that nothing impure will ever enter that city, nor will anyone who does what is shameful or deceitful, but only those whose names are written in the Lamb's Book of Life. That is Jesus' Book of Life. I'm sure we've all done things that are shameful or deceitful, and that can be terrifying. But there is a way to be in that Book of Life. And to me, the turning point is here. It's about washing. It says, "Blessed are those who wash their robes, that they may have the right to the tree of life, and may go through the gates into that city." Now, elsewhere in the Bible, washing robes is a symbol of becoming clean, of being forgiven, of becoming pure. And it says, "Blessed are those who wash their robes in the blood of the Lamb," that is, in Jesus' blood. You wouldn't think you'd want to wash your clothes in blood because they just get stained and horrible. But actually, Jesus' blood, it says, it washes away our sin so that we can be clean and forgiven, and our name can be in this book of life. It says, "Come, let the one who is thirsty come, and let the one who wishes take the free gift of the water of life without price." This free gift of life can be ours, and so we can look forward to going into the city. And as there's the sense of anticipation of going into the city, we anticipate the ending of things. Here it says there'll be the ending of death itself. It says that God will wipe every tear from their eyes. There will be no more death, or mourning, or crying, or pain, for the old order of things have passed away. No more death, or pain, or mourning. Now we look forward to the end of the pandemic, to the end of the virus. But death has been around before that, and death will be around after that, until this moment where God wipes away those things. And there'll be no more fear. It says that the gates of that beautiful city will never be shut. There'll be no fear. People can come and go freely. They'll never be closed in defence or to keep people in. Isn't that amazing? But as with the pandemic, we know that if we were just looking forward to the end of things, it wouldn't be so exciting. But it is exciting. We're looking forward to the continuation of all the beautiful things that we've enjoyed before. We're looking forward to the restoration of relationships. We're looking forward to the renewal of concerts and of all those things that we long to do and that we love doing, that we have enjoyed doing, and we're looking forward to them. And it's the same here. A new heaven and a new earth doesn't just mean the end of the bad things. It means that all the good things, all the glorious things are going to be perfected, and they're more vibrantly and fully than we can possibly imagine now. It describes the city, and it talks about precious stones, more precious stones than I've heard of or that I'm sure exist in the most amazing jeweller's shop in the world. The city made of precious stones. It says, "The great street of the city was gold, as pure as transparent glass." I've read it in another way that said that the gold of the city was pure and was transparent as glass. I can't imagine gold that's clear like glass. It's amazing. And again, talking about this city, where the glory of God is its light, it says the nations will walk by its light, and the kings of the earth will bring their splendour into it. It's not an empty city. All of the wonderful things from the world are coming into it. People from all nations. Isn't that amazing? And in this city, again, it's not empty. It has the river of life. The river of life. And on each side of the river stood the tree of life, bearing 12 crops of fruit, yielding its fruit every month. I hope that you, like me, maybe in springtime in lockdown, we've noticed things that we wouldn't normally notice when life's so busy. I've noticed that the trees have flowers, and I think I might have noticed it before, but not the same as I've noticed it now. They have flowers, and often they're small and they might be green, so we might not notice them. But it's exciting, and it's exciting to see the flowers and the fruit come year by year. But here that happens every month. And it gets better, because the leaves of the tree are for the healing of the nations. There's healing, there's full healing for the nations. And again we're reminded that God will give light. It's brilliant. We can remind ourselves of this when we're longing for things and those longings can't be satisfied. One day those longings will be fulfilled perfectly with relationships and with beautiful good things and with life and with healing and with light and with knowing God fully. And it'll also be the end to the bad things. There'll be no more death. Those things that give us pain, they'll be gone. It's also a warning that verdict is coming. But there's also hope and certainty in hope, because that book of life exists and our names can be written there if we've washed our robes in the blood of the Lamb, if we've been thirsty, and if we've therefore come to the water of life. And this isn't just something to remind ourselves of in the future, this is something that can change how we are now. Thousands of years earlier, a poet who wrote Psalm 87 was writing about the city of God. And he wrote that singers and dancers alike say that all their springs, all their fountains, all their inspiration and their energy, all of their springs come from the city of God. And if they could say that then, how much more can we say that now? Now that we hear about this beautiful city of God that is to come, that will be perfected. How amazing. Can we imagine that? And does that give us hope for life, as well as more inspiration for our music than we can imagine? Let me pray to finish. Thank you, Lord Jesus, that you are coming again. And as we feel this pull of anticipation and this excitement and this longing, may we be drawn more fully to you. Amen.
Esther pants for the water, so my soul longs after you. You alone are my heart's desire, and I long to worship you. You alone are my strength, my soul. To you alone may my spirit live. You alone are my heart's desire, and I long my heart is healed. All my troubles are defeated.